It's undeniable that there's been a lot of backlash towards James Gunn over the past few weeks, with all the announcements, rumors, reports that have been coming out about the future of the DCU. And of course, it does look like a nearly full-scale reboot is on the table, at least when it comes to a character like Superman. James Gunn has already admitted that when they announced that they're parting ways with Henry Cavill just a few months after he made his return in Black Adam. It didn't last very long. Henry Cavill is done as Superman. That has outraged a ton of fans, and virtually every single day you're seeing it trending, whether it's fire James Gunn, Gunn and Safran out, boycott Warner Brothers Discovery, boycott DC, things like that. It's obviously, I don't think it's the overwhelming majority of people, but there is definitely continuous backlash towards this, and it doesn't look like people are going to stop being upset anytime soon. Fire James Gunn trends on Twitter as thousands of fans come out to retaliate against the DC reboot the director is planning. And one of the things that he did come out and say after announcing that Henry Cavill is done is that Superman is a huge priority for the new DC universe, if not the biggest priority. And of course, we then found out that James Gunn himself is writing the script for the new Superman movie. It's going to feature a younger Superman. It's not going to be an origin story, according to him, but it's going to be a younger Superman. It's one of the reasons they wanted to move off Henry Cavill. But in a recently discovered interview from just last year, well, at this point, since we're 2023 now, about a year and a half ago, because it wasn't in 2022, James Gunn actually talked a little bit about Superman and about if he wanted to do a Superman or Justice League movie. And his comments back then have people wondering what's changed. And if nothing's changed, then maybe they're getting more worried. James Gunn reveals why he didn't direct a Superman film. The director also discussed a potential sequel to The Suicide Squad. This is back from 2021, and it all stems from right here, this interview he did with Entertainment on July 12th, 2021. This time it's war, how James Gunn took the Suicide Squad over the top. And in this article, he talks about leaving Marvel and coming back to Marvel. He talks about how he decided to do the Suicide Squad, stuff like that. But there's a paragraph right here. Although Gunn spoke with Warner Brothers about several DC properties, including Superman, he admits he never seriously considered making a Man of Steel movie. Quote, things like Superman, Justice League, people have so many ideas about who they are that it seems like a less fun playground, he says. And that's why he decided to do the Suicide Squad, apparently. But if that's the way he felt back in July of 2021, what changed in a year's time? When just over a year after that, he agreed to become the head of DC Studios, and now he's overseeing everything, including writing a Superman movie, including assembling what it looks to be a completely new Justice League. If you were worried about that, you didn't want to do those things because of the expectations people have for those characters, because you can't fuck with those characters too much. What has changed? And that now has even more people worried about what we're going to see from the DCU from James Gunn. Now, I think it's a really tough position to go in. The last 10 years, DC, Warner Brothers have wasted so much time. You had a plan. You should have stuck to this plan. You had people overreacting one way and another and, doing this and doing that, flip-flopping back and forth. It's a mess. No one's denying that. And if you want to do a full-scale reboot, I do kind of understand, even though I disagree with moving away from some of these characters. But there's going to be a lot of pressure on James Gunn. Obviously, there's a lot of backlash towards him each and every day for the decisions that he is making. And if he does his own thing, because the ideas that people have for Superman and Justice League, it's not a fun playground for me to have. If that's the attitude he had back then, what are we going to have coming from James Gunn over the next 5-10 years of DC movies? A lot of people have a good reason to be worried.